Guys, expect this to happen a lot during the regular season, a lot of college football games, and I like talking about it. Halftime, after, might do some pre-games, definitely halftime and post-games. Just checking to make sure it's actually halftime. This has been a crazy game. Talking about Nebraska at Illinois. It's pretty much gone the way that I thought it would go. Maybe a tad more sloppy. Yeah, Illinois is a joke, actually. The only reason Illinois is winning is because Nebraska is messing up. Nebraska leads total offensive yards, 162 to 148. Both of them have a turnover. The thing that's helping Illinois is time of possession. They are controlling the clock. Nebraska has had it for a little over 12 minutes, and Illinois has had it over 17 minutes. So the game is going the way I thought it would, except for one thing. Nebraska's making more mistakes than I thought they would. Okay, so Nebraska was up. It was 9-2, right? They were driving for another score. I think that was a bad call. Illinois had the ball. I'm sorry. Illinois had the ball, and Nebraska intercepted it. And they called pass interference on Illinois. I totally disagree with that call. I think that was a clean interception. I didn't see any pass interference whatsoever. That was a bad call. So that cost Nebraska a possession, and then Nebraska got the ball back, and Martinez fumbled the ball, and that cost them a score right there. So Nebraska really, if you think about it, Nebraska should be up 16-2. If it wasn't for that bad pass interference and that fumble, scoop, and score, Nebraska would be up 16-2. They got to stop shooting themselves in the foot. I've watched the entire first half. Nebraska is the better team in this game. They're just making too many mistakes. In the second half, if they can clean up those mistakes, they can win this football game. The problem is, I don't know if Martinez is the type of quarterback if he makes a mistake like that, especially right before, this happened right before halftime. He might be one of these quarterbacks where he makes a mistake like that and it stays with him throughout the rest of the second half. This is where Scott Frost needs to prove that he's a decent coach. If you're a decent coach, you have the better team. Nebraska's the better team, okay? Scott Frost, you need to somehow make Adrian Martinez forget what just happened. If you want to prove that you belong at Nebraska, here's your chance right now. You're in a winnable game. You've been the better team. It's just been mistakes. So if you want to prove that you belong at Nebraska, prove it right now. Talk to your quarterback. Make him forget about that scoop and score. Seriously. Illinois had just scored. Nebraska got the ball back. About 30 seconds left in the first half. Martinez fumbles and Illinois gets a scoop and score. So that's basically the game right there. The last, 4 minutes of this game, first half, is what everybody's basing the entire game. If you've watched the entire first half, Nebraska has been the better team. And everything that I thought would happen, happened. What has Illinois been focusing on? Running the ball, controlling the clock. But scoring, that's a different story. They've needed help from Nebraska for their 2 touchdowns. If it wasn't for Nebraska messing up, Illinois wouldn't have anything except for that safety. It'd be 16-2 in favor of Nebraska. Nebraska should be winning this football game. So, and I know I'm going to be extra passionate about this because my spread pick, I picked Nebraska to win this game and to actually cover, lay the 7. And if it wasn't for those stupid mistakes that they have made so far, that's exactly what would be happening. Nebraska would be going into halftime up 16-2. But no, number one, the refs mess up, call a pass interference when Nebraska intercepted that. Illinois finishes that drive with a touchdown because they erased that interception by Nebraska on a bad call. So that's one issue. That's on the refs. The second issue, Nebraska gets the ball back, and Martinez not only fumbles, but the dude for Illinois scoops and scores. That's a 14-point swing right there. Illinois is not the better team. It was just a bunch of stupid things that happened in the last 5 minutes of this first half. We all knew it was going to be sloppy. That's what it was trending towards. Kind of boring, but it's what I expected. That's why I picked the under on this game. It was like 54.5. That's way too much for this football game. I don't know what they were thinking with that over and under. So if I would have been Vegas, I would have picked an over under maybe right around 40. That would have been way more bettable, way more interesting. But as is right now, Illinois is winning the game going into halftime, 13-9. So not 13, sorry, 16-9. But it's all because of Nebraska. Illinois has not looked good whatsoever. They've chewed some clock, which is their game plan. Stay in the ballgame, which is their game plan. But on the flip side, Nebraska actually can move the ball, and they actually can pass the ball. I mean, Martinez was throwing some dimes there for a minute. It was that one missed opportunity when they were in the red zone. He overthrew his tight end. Can't remember his name. They had to settle for a field goal, and that's what messed up. That was the start of this halftime deficit for Nebraska. It was that overthrown ball, and I could be way off on this, but that overthrow might have gotten inside his head, and that's what led to the rest of this stuff. Now, they can't help about the refs. You know, that was an interception by Nebraska. I did not see any pass interference. That was a bogus call. However, that's not what wins and loses football games. When there is a bad call called on you, and it happens all the time, it's not just you. They're not just focusing on you. You have to learn to put that behind you and still do your job. You have to do your job. So there was the bad call, right? Maybe he got in the defense's head. I don't know, because all of a sudden Illinois looked like they can move the ball. Before that bad call, Illinois couldn't really do anything. And we knew going into this game that both of these teams are not good, but they have the potential to take a step forward. Both of these teams have that potential. Both of these teams have a chance to make a bowl. This could be the game that decides a bowl for both of these teams. So I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Scott Frost, and I know you're not listening, you're in halftime, but I hope that you're thinking the same thing. If you want to keep your job, if you want to prove that you're the right coach for Nebraska, right now, you need to be coaching those mistakes right out of Adrian Martinez. Because the way it looks right now is Adrian Martinez is letting those mistakes beat him more than once. It started with an overthrow, then a terrible flag called by the refs, and then a fumbled scoop and score. Before then, you were controlling the game. That's what you need to be coaching right now at halftime, Scott Frost. You need to be telling your team, listen, the last 5 minutes sucked. Horrible. Didn't see it coming. What we need to be focusing on is what happened before those last 5 minutes. You were the better team. You were controlling the game. You were winning the game. Let's get back to that. Put the last 5 minutes of the first half behind you. Behind you. That's what you have to do. So if Nebraska comes out here and they're still thinking about what happened in the last 5 minutes of the first half, the game is over. Nebraska's going to lose. I still think Nebraska's the better team. It's just those last 5 minutes of that first half has absolutely killed them. The overthrown, the bad flag, and then the fumbled scoop and score. So we'll see if Scott Frost can prove his worth right here, because this is his moment to prove that he believes that. I actually didn't play this game, but the spread pick that I gave out was Nebraska lay the 7, because I felt that Nebraska was the better team. I still feel that Nebraska was the better team. They should be up 16-2 right now. But like I said, overthrown, flag, scoop and score, last 5 minutes, all went down the toilet. So, if Scott Frost is, if he's going to prove that he belongs at Nebraska, right now is whenever he needs to be coaching up his quarterback and be like, get it behind you. Remember the first, I don't know, first quarter and 3/4 of the second quarter. Remember all that, because the last 5 minutes have been horrible. It went from 9-2 with the potential of going up 16-2. It went from that to Illinois being up 16-9. So that's what he has to be. That's what he has to be talking to his players right now. I mean, bottom line. What can I say? I wasn't expecting those last 5 minutes to happen. If you've been watching the entire game, not just those 5 minutes, Nebraska's been the better team. They had that punt return mishap, but they recovered from that. Other than that, they've been the best team, and then the last 5 minutes happened, and then people that maybe just tune in and they look at halftime, they're like, oh, Illinois is up 16-9. Both of these teams are trash, and Illinois is going to win this game. You haven't been watching the entire first half. Nebraska's been the best team, but things happen. Things happen. And that fumble happened 30 seconds before halftime. That's what really hurts is, if Scott Frost would have just kneeled the frickin' ball like you're supposed to, instead, no, he's got to take chances. You're tied. It's not like you're down by 2 touchdowns. When you're tied, you take the kneel. You take the kneel and you go into halftime with a tied football game. So I hope he learned his lesson from that. It's bad coaching. Bad coaching and mistakes is what's costing Nebraska. Having said that, I'm still convinced that Nebraska is the better football team, okay? It's, can they put the mistakes behind them? That's the biggest question, because that's why they're down right now. An overthrow, a bad flag by the refs, and then that fumble, scoop, and score. Just a chaotic last 5 minutes of this first half. I'm checking to see if they're showing scores of other games, which I don't know if there's any other games going on that I care. Yeah, it's 16-9 Illinois. Nebraska. Okay, let me give you the rundown if you're not caught up right now. Nebraska was up 9-2. Okay, they were driving. No, Illinois had the ball. They had just kicked another field goal. Because Nebraska scored a touchdown, missed the extra point, and then kicked a field goal. They were up 9-2. Illinois had the ball. Nebraska intercepted Illinois, but the refs caught a flag for interference, gave the ball back to Illinois. They scored. So now it's 9-9. And they scored with like a minute and something left. So Nebraska gets to like the 40-yard line. There's like 35 seconds left. Scott Frost took a chance. And what happens? Adrian Martinez fumbles. Illinois scoops and scores. And there's your halftime score. 16-9. So 9-2. Bad flag. Illinois ends up scoring 9-9. Scott Frost takes a chance. Fumble, scoop, and score. 16-9. There you go. You're caught up. It was just... And it is the first game, so you do have to expect mistakes. But in such a short amount of time, it went from Nebraska controlling this football game to Illinois being up by a touchdown. That score is very, very deceiving. Illinois has not been the better team. That's why I kind of have hope that Nebraska can still win this football game, because it's not like they've been outplayed and, maybe they'll come out much better. No, they've been the better team. They just had a terrible last 5 minutes. I don't even know how better to explain it. Chaotic, insane, whatever. So hopefully the rest of these games aren't as boring, and those last 5 minutes that we've seen will be more of an entire game, because I'll be honest, it has been boring. And that's why I took the under on the 54.5. That was insanely high to me. I'm like, number one, both of these teams hardly ever get to 30 points. Hardly ever. And number two, it's the first game of the year, and you're setting the over-under at 54.5. To me, that was easy to pick the under. Now, having said that, crazy things can happen in the second half, and, maybe my picks turn out to look like total crap. Illinois ends up blowing out Nebraska, like 45 to 9. That could happen. And that would put you barely over the over-under at 54.5. That would put you at 55. Whatever. It could happen. We'll see. But right now, I still think that Nebraska can win this football game. They've looked like the better team. They had a terrible, horrible last 5 minutes. We'll see. But I'll tell you one thing. It's nice to hear crowd reactions, real crowd reactions. And it's nice to see whenever the camera pans to see a full stadium. That's one thing that I'm very excited about seeing for this football game. Even though I don't care about both of these two teams, I love college football. I love the atmosphere. I love the packed stadium. It looks like it's packed out. Maybe that's had something to do with it. I don't know, but we'll see. I still think Nebraska can win this football game. I do. As long as they play like they did in the first quarter and first 3 quarters of the second quarter. So first 3 quarters of the first half. 3/4. There we go. 3/4 of the first half. If they play like they did in the first 3/4 of this first half, they should win the game. But if they let these last 5 minutes get in their head and continue to beat them, it could be a really long day for Nebraska, and Scott Frost could literally be watching his job go down the toilet. So this is the most important halftime speech Scott Frost has ever had in his entire life. Right now, this is it. The most important halftime speech you've ever had in your entire coaching career, Scott Frost. This is it. Let's see what you're made of. All right, so there's my quick halftime report. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I think I'm going to do a lot of these. I had a lot of fun, even though they're quick and, fleeting, whatever you want to call it. I had fun recapping the first half, seeing what might happen in the second half. So I hope y'all enjoyed it too. We'll see if any of these other games are any good and might do another one. We'll see. But don't forget about my Raw reaction live show tonight, my first one. And if you're a Nebraska fan, or if you're an Illinois fan, or you had money on this game, tune in to this live show. You're going to see either very, very happy people or very, very mad people. It should be a good one. 9 p.m. right here, live show, Golden Blue Dude, Raw reaction. And by the way, I already put out my regular video of the day, so go check it out whenever you can. Happy first Saturday of the college football season, week 0. It's officially halftime of the first watchable game, whatever you want to call it. Illinois leads Nebraska 16-9. But I still have Nebraska. I'm going to back my pick. They just have to put that last 5 minutes behind them. Y'all have a good rest of the day, and come back tonight 9 p.m. for the live show.